Hey, what's up everybody? Chris to Expose the Frauds. I got some pretty good information for you guys today. Anyway, the first thing I'll get to before I get to everything is I got that Mike Maloney DVD. Really good stuff. I support everybody. If it wasn't for Mike Maloney, I probably would have sold my gold a long time ago. But because of him and his expertise in it and all the information that this guy delved up and gave to people like us who read his books, just amazing. I've made so much money in gold just by holding on from this guy's wisdom. So a $50 DVD, worth it, and it's, if I could give back, that's the way I give back. And the guy who filmed it, awesome job filming, really good stuff. So anyway, to my main story, I downloaded that book that Warren Buffett supposedly recommended to his banker friends. It's going for like $1,700 on the internet, the hardcover. I don't know if Warren Buffett really recommended it. That's the rumor. The bottom line is the name of the book is called When Money Dies. It was written in 1975. And I downloaded it on the internet. Just type in Google When Money Dies PDF, and you get the PDF right there. And it's I printed it out at work because I can't read on the internet for more than like 3 pages. My eyes start going crazy. So anyway, I highlighted some really cool parts of this book. It's amazing how it's like almost not exact, but what's going on in this book, how you could relate it in Germany to today. It's amazing. And I highlighted some stuff, and I'll read to you guys some stuff. This is one paragraph. It says, as the war machine lumbered expensively on, circumstances and policies combined to pull the wool over the financial eyes of the German people, not least those classes who had most to lose. Every German stock exchange was closed for the duration, so that the effect of the Reichsbank policies on stocks and shares was unknown. Further, foreign exchange rates were not published, and only those in contact with neutral markets such as Amsterdam and Zurich could guess what was going on. So it just goes to show you, I mean, I don't think the stock exchange was closed the whole time, but even if you own stocks, they could close the exchange, and you're screwed if there's like a hyperinflation and the currency inflates away. One more reason to own physical gold and silver. So just amazing stuff. I highlighted some other stuff I'll give you guys. This here says, the German standard of living, it was estimated, had fallen to about half of what it had been before the war. It is indicative that the first street demonstration of the revolution in Munich, where 100,000 people took to the streets on November 7th, was set off by an increase of 6 pfennigs in the price of a liter of beer. So here you go, you have a revolution because the price of beer went up. I mean, it just goes to show, no one cares that the central bank is printing and just robbing everyone's wealth. No one cares about that. But remember LeBron James, that story? Or what's going on with Lindsay Lohan or the Real Housewives of New York? People care about that. Same thing with this. No one cared what was going on. They raised the price of beer. 100,000 people demonstration in the streets. It's just amazing the parallels between back then and now. So here's some more stuff I highlighted. Just a really good book. This one says, the wife of a doctor whom I know recently exchanged her beautiful piano for a sack of wheat flour. I too have exchanged my husband's gold watch for 4 sacks of potatoes, which will at all events carry us through the winter. So here you go. Gold is not everything. You need food. People are exchanging gold watches just to buy food. So you better have some food or something, whether it be oats, oatmeal in containers or something to get you through like a winter or something, because it's not all about gold. This one says, although the misery of Austria was more immediately and directly the result of war, the pattern was to be repeated almost exactly in Germany. In both countries, rapid inflation caused homegrown produce to be withheld from urban markets, with hunger and anger the inevitable result. See, locally grown produce, the farmers withheld it from the market and they kept it for themselves. So it just goes to show you too, just because you live next to a farm, that stuff could be withheld. Oh my God. This one says, a suit costs about 6 times what it did in 1913, but some things like food are 100 or 200 times as much. Paper clothes are being sold. Never had I dreamed it possible that one could purchase so little for 10,000 kronen. So imagine like $10,000, like buying like nothing. I mean, this is what people are saying. Another one, it says, furniture, fittings, pianos, and carpets were being bought up wholesale by what were known as the gold currency people, the occupying Italians, British, and Americans. They called them the gold currency people because they had like the US dollar, the Italians, they had, it was basically like a gold-backed currency, and they were buying up Germany like hand over fist. It says the last valuables of countless houses, like people whose last and only valuable thing, houses, it says flowed onto the market, no one warning their owners not to part with goods whose intrinsic value remain unimpaired. So most people sold their houses, they didn't even know that they were selling their last and only store of value. So it's like going on now. People are foreclosing, and I think it's a scam. I think the banks are making people foreclose because they're going to take all the property. If you're noticing, there's more properties being bank-owned as the month goes by, and then the banks, they're probably going to hyperinflate, and then they're going to have all the assets to themselves, and it's going to wipe out the middle class, and then they're going to sell the houses back to the people. So, yeah, some people, if you could get by, if you have income or savings, and you could pay the taxes on your property and your home, your mortgage might hyperinflate away, but most people, everything's going to be bank-owned. It's crazy. This is why probably a lot of the banks, they're just leaving the stuff bank-owned in foreclosure. Just amazing. The amount of information in this book was like just alarming. This one says, gambling on the stock exchange had become the fashion, the only way to avoid losing all one's money and perhaps to add to it. What's going on exactly now? The stock exchange is a casino, and people are just gambling on it. No one really invests in the stock market anymore, the majority of the people. It's for speculation. This one says, on December 15th, 1919, Frau Eisenmenger, I guess it's a profile, a person they're profiling, recorded that whereas the downward movement of the krone in Zurich had gone on, the value of my industrial investments is rising to an extent which seems to be incomprehensible and almost makes me uneasy. So here this guy's stocks were going up like crazy, and it was making him even uneasy. He was like, what's going on? So stocks don't always collapse. In the hyperinflation, they soar. So I guess they closed the stock exchange for a certain amount of time, and I guess it was reopened. That's what I'm getting from the story. This book actually is a little hard to follow. There's a lot of political news in this. I kind of go right over the political stuff. There's a lot of dates, names, countries, and when you read, it's a hard read. It's not an easy read, but I usually skip over it too because I just like the hyperinflation material where they kind of like profile people and just a few people that they talk about what it was like. One person, they said, if you give me your grand piano, you could have all the food you want for 3 months, I guess, to get through the winter. So this lady gave her whole grand piano. I mean, it's amazing how food becomes like the most important thing. It's not even like assets or gold and silver. It's pretty much, it's all about surviving. So anyway, great book. The parallels are just amazing. We don't have certain parallels yet though, because like they talk about how, you know, the cost of a suit was like 6-7 times the amount it was previously. We don't really have that now. A suit actually is cheaper than it was like 10 years ago. We are having like deflation in like clothes and certain things. So how this plays out, guys, I don't really know. All I know is that I do want to own gold and silver because even if we get massive deflation, it's the dollar is credit risk, but bonds are going to blow up. Municipality bonds, everything's going to blow up, and you know people are going to run to gold. And not only that, if stuff like that blows up, that means the Federal Reserve is probably just going to print more. You know, they're talking about quantitative easing part 2. Now they're starting to really talk about it more. So, you know, it looks like in this hyperinflation Germany, I'm like halfway through the book, but it looks like it wasn't like inflation and more inflation and more. It looked like it went from like deflation to outright like high inflation than just hyperinflation, you know. So, you know, people are looking now like bloggers, like this guy Mike Shedlock. I mean, yeah, he's an economist. He knows his stuff, but the guy's totally wrong on a lot of stuff. He talks about how like basically like, yeah, we're getting deflation forever. It's going to be like Japan, but I mean, I don't know. I can't see how the value of the dollar is just going to go up all of a sudden. We're not on a gold standard, and they're just going to keep printing. I honestly can't see how all of a sudden the dollar could just stay valuable and not lose confidence. Because remember, it's not about how many dollars are in circulation. Hyperinflation is about confidence. It has nothing to really do about the money in circulation. Like they say, it's like it's a monetary phenomenon or something like that. But you know, it could happen like that. People start sensing like what is going on. This is crazy, and they want to part with their currency and their cash, and they stop buying up everything, and that's when you get shortages. So anyway, download that book. It's a really good read. It's pretty cool. It's tough though. It's not an easy read, but there's a lot of pretty cool information in it. So whether we go into a hyperinflation, I just don't know. I don't know. You know, if I did know, I wouldn't be here making YouTube videos. You know, but yeah. So you know, I get your gold, and you know, really, I mean, I'm not selling my stocks. The stuff I own, you know, in hyperinflation, this stuff's going to keep going up. I short sell some stocks, some companies. I short sell to kind of hedge my long positions. But I don't short sell indexes, and I haven't shorted in a while. I've been telling everybody not to short. That's still my position. Don't short. But anyway, guys, yeah, I'll try to get you some more info, and go read that book, all right? Take care.